Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clay, and I am the Bucks believer. Tonight on TNT, the Inside the NBA crew will be unveiling the 2021 NBA All-Star starters. And in honor of this occasion, I decided to outline what my picks would be for the roster. There were lots of difficult decisions to be made, but I feel like I came out with a pretty solid list. Let's get started with the Western Conference backcourt. My first starter here in the West is Steph Curry. Curry has had one of the best scoring seasons in the NBA in recent memory. He's putting up 30.1 points per game on an astonishing 66.9% true shooting percentage, which leads the NBA for all guards. He has done an excellent job so far this season and is certainly deserving of being one of the two starting backcourt members for the West. The other member of that starting backcourt is Luka Doncic. Doncic has done a fantastic job of getting his teammates involved as he leads the league in assist rate at 47.5%. And he's been that outstanding passer while also putting up a great 29.1 points per game. Doncic and Curry are my Western Conference starting backcourt. In the starting front court, we have to start with Nikola Jokic. In my opinion, Jokic has been the MVP of the league so far, and the advanced statistics certainly back that up. He leads the league in box plus minus, player efficiency rating, wins above replacement, and value over replacement player, which are my four personal favorite advanced metrics. Jokic has been terrific so far this season, and he has kept the Nuggets right in the thick of the Western Conference playoff race. He's certainly deserving of starting in the Western Conference front court. The next guy here is LeBron James. James keeps trucking along in his age 36 season as he is averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. And he has also been the leading contributor to what has been an outstanding Los Angeles Lakers team as they are currently 22-7, which is the second best record in the league. The third and final member of the Western Conference starting front court is Kawhi Leonard. Leonard has been outstanding for the Los Angeles Clippers as he continues to put up consistently great efforts night in and night out. He's currently top 10 in box plus minus, player efficiency rating, wins above replacement, and value over replacement player. And the Clippers have been a plus 15.7 team with Kawhi on the court. Jokic, James, and Leonard are my three starters in the Western Conference backcourt, and I think that they are all very deserving of that award. In terms of the Western Conference bench, we get it started with Damian Lillard. Lillard has had a great season so far for Portland as he has led them to the 5th seed despite injuries to CJ McCollum and Jusuf Nurkic, who are probably the second and third best players on that team. Damian is averaging 29.1 points per game, and he's also shooting a great 38% from 3 on what is usually a lot of very, very difficult off-the-dribble shots. Dame has been great so far this year, and he is certainly deserving of an all-star berth. I couldn't quite put him into that second backcourt starting spot over Luka Doncic, but he definitely should be here in the all-star game. The next guy here is Anthony Davis. Davis may not be able to play in the All-Star game because of the current injury he is battling with his lower leg, but when he's been healthy and on the court, he has been one of the best players in the NBA. He's one of just 7 players who has a steal rate of upwards of 2% and a block rate of upwards of 2%. He also is shooting a career-high 57.5% on 2-point shots and has been great for the Lakers this year in leading their defense to being the best in the league. Davis is absolutely deserving of an all-star berth, and that's why I've got him right here coming off the bench for the Western Conference. The next player here is Paul George. George has had a bounce-back season after a bit of a letdown in his first season with the Clippers. He's shooting an outstanding 47.8% from 3, and that's coming on a ridiculous 7.9 attempts per game. Combine that with his 50.8% from the field and 90.5% from the free throw line, and George has a chance to join the prestigious 50-40-90 club at season's end if he can continue to score with this level of efficiency. The next guy here is Rudy Gobert. Gobert easily makes the All-Star team because he has been the best player on the best team in the league so far, as the Utah Jazz have been pretty much unbeatable over the better part of the last 2 months. Gobert comes in ranking 3rd in block rate, 4th in rebound rate, and is also 4th in field goal percentage. He is the crux of what this team does offensively and defensively, and I really considered putting him into the 3rd starting spot in the Western Conference front court over Kawhi Leonard. Gobert has been terrific, and he absolutely belongs at the All-Star game. The next guy here is the first-time All-Star on the list, and that is Zion Williamson. Zion has been terrific so far this season. He's averaging 24.6 points per game and shooting a ridiculous 61.5% from the field. That's the best in the league among non-centers. Zion is a force in the paint, he's a force in transition, and I think this season should be his first All-Star appearance. The next player here is someone who is also making their first All-Star game, although they've been in the league much longer than Zion has, and that is Mike Conley. Conley is the second Jazz player to make it, as he has been, in my opinion, the second best player on the league's best team. He is averaging the fewest points per game out of any player making my All-Star rosters, but he is doing so while shooting a career-high 41% from 3. He has also been the most positive impact player on the Jazz, as they are a ridiculous 16 points per 100 possessions better with Conley on the court than they are with him off of it. Conley deserves to make his first All-Star team this year, and I really hope that he does. I also want to say that it was difficult for me to put him on this team over Donovan Mitchell, who is one of my favorite, if not my single most favorite, players in the league, but I think Conley has just been better for Utah so far this year, so I gave him the nudge. My last player to make it onto this Western Conference All-Star team is Chris Paul. Paul narrowly edged out players like DeMar DeRozan, Christian Wood, Brandon Ingram, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the previously mentioned Donovan Mitchell because he's having a great year and he has taken the Suns from being a mediocre out-of-the-playoff squad to a legit playoff team. He's averaging 17 points per game and 8 assists, and all of the advanced statistics say that he has been the best player for the Suns so far this season. That gets him an All-Star berth in my opinion. As I said, I do have a couple honorable mentions that I listed before, but none of those guys were quite convincing enough cases to push CP3 off of this list. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, once again, we'll start with the starting backcourt. The first starting backcourt member for me is James Harden. Harden has had an outstanding season so far after the trade came that took him from the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets. He leads the league at the moment with 11.3 assists per game, and he's really taken on more of a playmaking role with his new team, and as Kyrie Irving said earlier this week, he is the point guard, and Kyrie has moved over to the shooting guard position. Harden's been great, and he deserves to be a starter in my opinion. Bradley Beal is the second all-star starter for the Eastern Conference in the backcourt. Beal leads the NBA in points per game with 33.1 points per game, which is just outstanding. Beal has taken a huge jump in that category as it is his career high by a whopping 3 points per game. And it's not like he's just going out there and chucking up shots every time he gets the ball. He's shooting an outstanding 59.3 true shooting percentage. That's certainly not going to rival the likes of Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. But for the volume of shots that he's been forced to take and the low quality of the shots that he's been forced to take, that is an outstanding mark, and Bradley Beal's scoring carries him to being one of the starting backcourt members for the Eastern Conference. Moving on to the starting front court, it starts with Joel Embiid. Embiid has been outstanding so far this season, and I think he has a sneakily underrated case to be the most improved player in the NBA so far this season. Unfortunately, that award rarely goes to established all-star level players, but because of Embiid posting career highs in points per game, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage, I think that he is definitely deserving of being in the debate for the award. Joel has been great, and he's the first member of the Eastern Conference starting frontcourt group. The next guy here is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo has taken a step back from his prior MVP seasons that he posted in the past 2 years. However, this down year of his shows him posting averages of 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists per game while shooting 56% from the field. Sounds like a pretty solid down year, doesn't it? The third and final member of the starting front court for the Eastern Conference is Kevin Durant. I really seriously considered bringing Durant off the bench and starting Nikola Vucevic, but because Durant has been so tremendous when he's been able to be on the court, the primary reason why I was considering putting him off the bench was because of the time he missed an injury. I had to put him on here as a starter because, oh boy, he's been terrific. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a career high 43.4% from three-point range. KD has been ridiculous, and if he were in the lineup more often, I think I would probably have him as being one of the MVP candidates right up there with Nikola Jokic. He has missed time, but I still think he should be an all-star starter. Moving on to the Eastern Conference bench unit, the first guy that I have here is Kyrie Irving. Irving has been great for the Nets so far this season, and I would have had him as a starter if not for his bearded teammate. Irving is averaging a career-high 28.3 points per game, and he's also on pace to join the 50-40-90 club with that outstanding efficiency that he's had so far this year. Kyrie has been terrific, and I really considered putting him into the starting lineup. Nikola Vucevic is the next player off the bench for me. It might seem a little crazy that I have him cemented as this much of a lock, but when you look at the numbers, I just don't see how there's any way you could leave him off of this roster. Vooch is averaging 23.7 points per game and 11.4 rebounds per game, and the advanced statistics love what he's done for the Magic so far this year. He's in the top 15 in box plus minus, player efficiency rating, wins above replacement, and value over replacement player. And I think that ranking that outstandingly in all of those advanced metrics shows how impactful he's been. The argument can be made that the Magic are bad and they don't deserve an all-star, but Vooch is at no fault for them being bad. He is the only reason why they're not the worst team in the NBA by a wide margin. And because of that, I think he's deserving of an all-star berth, and I've got him right here coming off the bench for the Eastern Conference. And as I said before, I strongly considered putting him in the starting lineup over Kevin Durant. The next guy here is Jaylen Brown. Brown has had an outstanding year in which it really improved his scoring as he's gone from 20.3 points per game last year to 26 points per game so far this season. He's certainly deserving of an all-star berth because of his increased offensive production, and I can't wait to see if he can keep this up for the Boston Celtics as the season continues. And as a Bucks fan, this kind of work from Brown very much scares me, and I think the Celtics are going to be a dangerous team for years to come, even if they aren't as threatening this year. The next player I have on the all-star berth comes from my Milwaukee Bucks, and that is Chris Middleton. Middleton is averaging 20.3 points per game on 51, 44, 90 shooting splits. Enough said. The next all-star I have is Bam Adebayo. Adebayo is averaging 19.8 points per game, which is a 4.3 point increase off of his average from last year, and he has really stepped into an increased scoring role with Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Tyler Hero all missing extended periods of time. He's also been the anchor of this Heat defense as he ranks in the top 10 in defensive box plus minus. Adebayo certainly should be an all-star, and I've got him right here on my list of Eastern Conference reserves. The next player I have on this list is Jason Tatum. Tatum is averaging a career-high 25.4 points per game, and that is coming while he has also greatly improved his playmaking, as his assists per game has gone from 3 to 4.6. That's an excellent improvement, and Tatum's playmaking can take him to the next level of being a top 10 player in the league. I've loved what I've seen from him so far this season, and the fact that I was actually considering leaving him off this list shows just how much talent is in the NBA at this current juncture. My last player to make the Eastern Conference All-Star list, making it over players like Julius Randle, Trae Young, Drew Holiday, Ben Simmons, and Fred VanVleet, is Zach LaVine. LaVine is the only thing that is making the Bulls any sort of competence so far this season, and he has sneakily gotten them into position to make the play-in tournament. LaVine is averaging a outstanding 28.2 points per game, and he has greatly improved his playmaking and his efficiency. And when I say improved efficiency, it's not like he went from being below average to average. He went from being right around average to one of the best scorers in the game. So far this season, he has posted a 64.5 true shooting percentage, which is right up there with the likes of the greatest players in the game right now, and he's doing that on a very high usage rate. He's not quite the playmaker that the Bulls need him to be to truthfully be a superstar, and he needs to improve on defense, but LaVine has taken a massive jump so far this season, and he barely squeaks onto my all-star list. That is it, everybody. Those are my 24 All-Stars. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm sure that there are many people who will disagree with a lot of things that I said in this video, but these are truthfully what I believe the All-Star teams should look like, and I will be willing to vouch for any and each of these players if they are left off of the All-Star teams. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section down below. Which players would you include that I didn't? Which ones do you think I was right to include? Let me know. Leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Bucks fans, that's going to be it for me. I will see you all again very soon.